Hello, everybody. My name is Mike Lagerquist. That I do know. And we are here today with Cecil Fountain. She is our diversity program manager at Vine Faith in Action. And she has some friends here. They're going to share some just fun things about Christmas from around the world. So I will be quiet now. And here is Cecile.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. And
You have a good lunch?
thank you.
Sorry, I just muted you because we've got people coming in with background noise. So can you unmute yourself? There we go.
Okay. Well, hi, everyone. And before I start, I really would like to thank my dear colleague, Mike, because he's always there to rescue me, especially with technology. So thank you, Mike. So today we meet again. This time we're going to talk about Christmas around the world. And I'm going to start by introducing my first guest, actually my only guest, who is Lourdes Menjivar. And Lourdes is also part of Vine. She is the outreach worker with the diversity program. And Lourdes is from El Salvador. And
Can I stop you for a second, Cecile? Is everybody able to hear Cecile all right? Because she's kind of cutting in and out for me. Anybody give a thumbs up or thumbs down? It's good? Thumbs down. Okay, Cecile, if you want to get just a little closer to your phone, maybe that would be.
It's kind of echoing. There's an extra sound there.
Okay. How about now? It's still echoing?
It was better for me.
Okay. Okay, well, maybe if I talk slower, that would help. What do you think?
Yep, working so far.
Okay, all right. So we're just dealing with technology slow all over. So, like I said, my guest is Lourdes Menjivar, who is a Hispanic outreach worker. Hold on a second. Maybe if you want to yourself, right?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you either personally or otherwise.
Can you mute your microphone? All right. So is that better? Thumbs up? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So Lourdes, who is from El Salvador, she's going to be the first one to talk about Christmas when she was growing up in El Salvador. So, and Lourdes also is a Hispanic outreach worker at Vine with the diversity program. So, welcome, Lourdes, and you can take it away from here.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Hi there. Yes, so when Cecile told me about the Christmas in my country, I feel so happy with that because I got too much thinking about it. What is the Christmas in my country? At that time, was so happy to be in Christmas because, you know, there is a lot of food in Christmas. One of the thing is a lot of food in Christmas. My mom work in wash clothes and iron the clothes. So sometimes the boss give it to her like a lot of more money in Christmas. And it was so good because we have a lot of grapes, a lot of apples, and soda. We have a lot of food at home. And I remember that was 1 year at Christmas Day, she asked him for make a special food for us. She doesn't cook, just, asking for people who got the experience in the best plate there is a turkey and some kind of sandwiches or sandwich that we know. And yes, I remember that the best gift that we have at that time was a new clothes. Okay, it's our best Christmas gift because they got everything for us, you know, socks, shoes, pants or sundress. And that is a beautiful time that I remember that. And I remember that we have our Christmas tree. Our Christmas tree was special because was a branch from one tree. That people send that kind of tree. It was a branch, a big branch, and we put in like to similar to the snow. We put in like soap. You know, we put that soap and water and do something special, and we put in like a snow in that kind of branch. So and lights, and we buy like a little toys that is for Maria, from Jose, for Joseph, that we say Jose, Joseph, Mary, and the baby Jesus, and they made from clay. So we put the whole village, and we put, you know, like animals, hospitals, and many things. It was a big city that we made with the little clay toys. I say toys, but there is like an, I don't know. Yes, but I remember it was so beautiful because we don't have a lot of money to we don't have a lot of money to expend, you know, like now there is, you can buy to the kids like a cell phones or iPads or something like that. No, we were happy with just clothes, you know. We were happy just because we have a new socks, new shoes, and beautiful shoes, you know, at that time. So yes, I remember that it's a good time. It was a good time for us. It's a good remember.
Well, thank you so much, Lourdes, for sharing your story. And I wanted to mention to everyone that today is going to be a little bit different. So Lourdes was the first one to share her story. And I will share mine as well. But I also would like each one of you to share their Christmas growing up, how they had it in their families, in their own families growing up, and also when they grew up and had their own families, how if that tradition continued or stopped or got changed a little bit or tweaked, or whoever or which one of you completely changed their tradition into their spouse's tradition. So I will have one more person, which would be Annette Macbeth, which is my American mom, to start first to share her story. And then after her, we're gonna take Sue Frost, which is my American mom, to share her story as well, her Christmas growing up. So can you unmute yourself, Mom? She is calling from phone, so I don't know. Can you unmute? If you click on the screen, there is a mute, a microphone button to the far bottom left. If you can click unmute. Yes, okay. You got it. So take it along. Hello? Mom, Grandma?
This is not a good day for technology.
Especially when you're in Duluth.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you came in and then you're gone. So can you unmute again? All right.
It
Okay.
says we're unmuted.
Yes. So go
Can
ahead.
you hear us?
Yes, we
Go
can.
ahead. Okay. This is an electronic miracle. We're sitting in the rest stop overlooking Lake Superior. So here goes. I'm Annette Macbeth, and I grew up in a family where my mother was Swedish and my father was Scottish. And we did at Christmas time the Swedish customs, which on Christmas Eve was we had oyster stew for Christmas Eve, and then we went to the Christmas Eve service at church. And then when we came home, we all went to bed, and the next morning we had stockings that had all kinds of things in them because Santa had come. And so Christmas was really a family day, and we had lutefisk for our main dish, and we had Swedish bologna sausage that Mom handmade with a type of grinder machine, and then stuffed it in with a horn from some animal into the casings. And then we had a cranberry dish that was served that had fruit, cranberries, and some other spices. I don't remember what they were. And then mincemeat pie was always the tradition after the meal. Mother did this tradition until she was, I think, 84 years old. And then what happened is the family transitioned to some more American dishes to satisfy the grandchildren. And today what we have is a beef tenderloin, and we still have the cranberry. And if we can find the Swedish sausage, we'll buy that as well. And then a dessert that also was served over the Christmas holidays was ustakaka, which was a type of Swedish pudding with lingonberries. Tell her about the program, your mom.
And then always on Christmas, Mother would prepare a Christmas program that all of us participated in. She was an organist at church and played the piano, so we all gathered in the living room, and we would have Christmas readings. We would sing Christmas songs, and Dad would always read the Christmas story. And we still do that today. We carry on with a Christmas program. None of us play the piano, so we use other musical aspects off of a CD, but we still sing and we still read the Christmas story.
Thank you, Mom, so much for sharing. And let's hand it over to Grandma, Sue Frost.
Okay, I'm Sue, and I grew up in a Polish community. My father was of Polish descent, and we really didn't do anything on Christmas Eve. We would prepare the Christmas tree always a couple days before and put tinsel on. This is silvery stuff, and then on Christmas morning, we always had to wait till everybody was up before we could go downstairs, and we'd go downstairs and see the tree, and there were presents. We were not really poor, but we were not very well off. So our Christmas presents were always one toy. And then we had pajamas, socks, and slippers. That was our Christmas presents every single year that I can remember. But then we would just have a breakfast, which consisted of Polish sausage. From the original spices came from Poland. And then different kinds of bread. My mother was of German descent, so she made something called Munkstrudel, which was a poppy seed coffee cake. And then we had other breads and some eggs, and that was it. Then the day was just spent at home.
But I'd like to back up a little bit now, because on St. Nicholas Day, December 6th, we always, on the evening of December 5th, we put our shoes out, and St. Nicholas would come and put in fruit, usually an orange or an apple, some of the old-fashioned Christmas candy, and some nuts, the kind that you have to crack. When Annette and I were living in Germany, we went one year to Holland to spend Christmas and the whole month of December with my pen pal of many years. There they also celebrated St. Nicholas Day, because St. Nicholas is originates in Holland, and Santa Claus comes from St. Nicholas. But St. Nicholas would come again on the evening of the 5th, and on the 6th then you would open up presents. That's when the present giving was on that day. And then if you weren't good, you might, Black Peter, who was Santa Claus's helper, might leave you coal or a switch of some kind. And then on the actual Christmas day, that's the holy day that's spent going to church. Sometimes we would go on Christmas Eve, I think we went. And then on Christmas Day, you would fill a basket for somebody who has been especially good to you that year. It might be filled with cakes and cookies and cheese and bread and maybe some meat. And then you would go to their house and leave the basket at their front door, ring the doorbell, and then leave right away. So it was really an anonymous thing. So there were no presents at Christmas time, Christmas Day. Everything was at St. Nicholas on the 6th of December. So that was kind of a nice thing for us to experience, how they really celebrate December 25th as the real Christmas when Jesus was born. Now that I've gotten older, of course, my family still gets together, except this year, on Christmas Day to open presents, and we have stockings too, and everybody buys something for everybody else's Christmas stocking. And the rule is it can't be more than $1. So it's always fun to see how unique people get. They might buy a whole bag of candy kisses and then divide it up into smaller packages, and you'd find one of those in your your stocking. And always there would seem to be, somebody would put an orange in, so there was always seemed to be a piece of fruit. And that's how we still have the traditional Christmas breakfast, which includes something called oplaki, which is like a communion wafer, only it comes in sheets, probably a 5x7 sheet. And the eldest member of the family starts by breaking a piece off and then passing it to the next one. And then when everybody has it together, I have a piece, then a prayer is said, and the meal begins. It's hard to find a good Polish sausage anymore because nobody gets the spices from Poland like they used to. So we usually spend a couple of weeks before trying out sausage from different places, as far away as St. Joseph, Minnesota, to try and come up with the right one, but we still haven't managed that. And we give presents, we draw names to see whose name we're going to give a present to, and we do it in different ways. Sometimes you have to buy things with the beginning of the first letter of that person's name. So, and you have a limit of what you can spend. And the fun is always to see who can come up with the most things for that person. So it's changed over the years, but it's still some traditions we keep. That's all.
Well, thank you, Grandma, for sharing. I kind of got out some fun facts for Christmas. So I was thinking maybe we share one or two, and then we'll have maybe Barry maybe can share his Christmas traditions growing up. Is that okay, Barry? You can unmute yourself.
Hey, Cecile, this is Missy, and I would like to share some things when you have time.
Okay, sounds good. I thought we mixed it together, so we're not getting all the ladies to go first, and then the guys wait patiently for their turn. So, if Mike can share just one or two things of the fun Christmas, then Barry will take it over. Is that okay, Barry?
That's fine. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So hold on just a You can just.
Did you want me right away, Barry?
Well, we'll wait just a couple of seconds for Mike. Oh, he got him. So.
Well, here's the fun facts about you. You want to read this, Cecil, or how do you want to do this?
I would like you to read it, please.
Oh, okay. Fun facts about Christmas. The origins of Christmas.
Did you unmute yourself? So I'm gonna read it first. So the first one is the origin of Christmas. It said the origins of Christmas can be traced back to the ancient pagan celebrations such as Deus Sol Invictus, observed in December 25th, and the calends in January 1st through the 5th, and Saturnalia in December 17th to the 23rd. The Christian Church disapproved of these festivals and co-opted the holidays by declaring it December 25th as Jesus' birthday. The second fact is the mistletoe. You got it, Mike?
Yeah, the mistletoe was held sacred by the Norse, the Celtic Druids, and Native American Indians because it remains green and bears fruit during the winter when other plants seem to die. And then if you want to see number 3, Druids thought the plant had the power to cure infertility and nervous diseases and to ward off evil. How many more do you want?
Nope, that's just perfect right there. And now we'll let Barry take over.
Okay, Barry, if you want to give your traditions.
Does that mean Mike, Barry?
Yep, you're the Barry on here.
Okay, thank you. The biggest tradition we had was prior to Christmas, a couple weeks ahead of Christmas, we would try to go to a tree farm and cut down our own Christmas tree. And that was always fun to bring it home and get it in the house without shredding too many of the needles, because we always had needles on the floor and we had a couple dogs, so it wasn't a lot of fun trying to keep them away from the needles. But so getting our own tree and decorating it, and then of course on the 24th and 25th we would go to our church service in town, and we would come back and we would each open a couple gifts. Then we'd go to bed for the night and get up in the morning and finish opening the gifts and having a good meal of spaghetti and meat sauce and a lot of Christmas cookies. So those were all fun times for us.
Well, Barry, has always that been the tradition in your family when you were growing up?
That was usually the yearly tradition, right? I've never been married, so I don't have a family now. But I've been spending time with my brothers, except for this year, the COVID year. We're going to stay apart, of course, which is a sad deal. But we can do this kind of thing. We can get on Zoom together, and we can still try to have some holiday fun.
Well, absolutely. As long as everybody in the family is healthy. That's all what matters during this time.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Barry. And Missy, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Take it over.
I'm so happy to see you, Cecile. I know I miss you. Anyways, I grew up in a huge family with 10 children. And so like Sue said, we got one present if we were lucky. And I think what happened is my mother decided that we would put up the tree on Christmas Eve because that would give all of us kids something to do so we wouldn't be bugging her. So we always didn't put our tree up until Christmas Eve. And then on Christmas Eve, we also, like Annette, we had oyster stew. And I remember my dad telling us that if we ate the oyster stew, the oysters would swim around in our stomachs. So naturally, us kids did not eat the oyster stew. And as an adult, I realized that my dad probably said that so he could have them all to himself. But as far as other Christmas things, we, being a big Catholic family, church was a very big part of our holiday. And so we either went to midnight mass or Christmas morning mass. But I do want to say that we did have wonderful times with lots and lots of good cookies and good food. So that's all. Oh, and then when I had children, we thought, heck, we're not going to wait till Christmas Day to open our presents. So we started opening them on Christmas Eve instead. So that's all I have. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Missy. And I miss you so much. And I'm so happy that you joined this call. It means a lot to me, you know, coming back after being away from this lovely community for over 9 years. So, and all my friends who I'm not used to connecting with them virtually. But at least if that's what how things are these days, I'm just happy that I can connect with them. So I'm so happy you're here, Missy. So who would like to go next? How about Mary?
Yes. My dad's family was 100% Norwegian. And so therefore on Christmas Eve at my grandma's house, we always had lutefisk. And my favorite was the potatoes with the drawn butter. Oh, I love those. And then after, but it was such a long time waiting because we did not, in our little town, which was Amboy, south of here, we did not have church on Christmas Eve, but my cousins did, and it was their Christmas program, so they had to be there. So we would have to wait till they got done with church, and then they would come and we would have supper, and which was the lutefisk. And then we'd open presents, and they always brought all of their presents for Christmas, which they all opened, except we didn't. I was an only child. My folks, we did Christmas at home on Christmas Day. And I remember that it was always enjoyable to be able to play with everybody else's toys before and nobody got to play with mine on Christmas Day because I was the only one there to play with them. So that was, and we, on that evening, as we got a little older, like in elementary school, then we started having a Christmas program that was a must before we opened presents. And then my grandma would always read the Christmas story out of the Bible to us. And then Christmas Day was very small at home, but my mother was one of 8 girls. And so we go up to my other grandmas and have this huge family. And we would exchange names and this type of thing out there. Then when my mom took over having Christmas Eve because my grandmother passed away. Then we went to having oyster stew, which was a favorite in our house, though the kids haven't been as fond of it as what we were. And my stepdad always wanted to have mincemeat pie. And so we had to have that, which is extremely rich. And as the grandchildren came along and that, we had to make a few changes. So my mom added macaroni and cheese for the kids, and we'd pick up sandwiches from Subway and have Subway sandwiches. And that's something we've kind of continued for Christmas Eve is oyster stew. But I got a daughter-in-law who will make another type of soup because she is not an oyster stew maker. So she makes another. So we got the two soups and Subway sandwiches. And then we open our presents on Christmas Day. And when we do open presents, one tradition that we have with my kids is that they all have to get, I'm sitting in the sunroom, but they all have to pile onto the couch in the sunroom. And we have to have a picture each year. This happened to be the one from 2019, 2019. And this year, I'm going to see, because they are not coming for Christmas. So what I want to do is to do a Zoom call. And my son-in-law said we could take a screenshot of it. I don't know how to do that. I think he's going to have to do it, but that's going to have to be our picture on the couch. Yes, so that's what we do.
Thank you so much, Mary. That sounds like a lot of fun. I personally will take a Subway sandwich anytime, any
Over oyster stew.
over anything. So thank you so much for sharing. So I'm going to challenge Mike one more time if we can get a couple of more Christmas facts, if you would please.
Do you want me to read these again?
Yes, please.
Do you want to mute yours? That way they might not get the reverb.
I am muted.
Oh, you are? Okay. Number 4. I guess we are still getting it. Long before there were Christmas trees, the pagans revered evergreens as symbols of eternal life and rebirth. Because of their pagan associations, holly, ivy, and other evergreen boughs conventionally used for holiday home decoration were banned by the 6th century Christian Council of Braga. Oh, that's okay. This is just part of the same one. Pope Julius I, the Bishop of Rome, originally proclaimed December 25th the official celebration day for Jesus' birth back in 350 AD. So that was a long time ago. The city of Riga, Latvia, holds the claim as home to history's first decorated Christmas tree back in 1510. So Rockefeller Plaza, that was not the first one. And then Tom Smith invented Christmas crackers around 1846. He was inspired by the French habit of wrapping sugared almonds in twists of paper as gifts.
Okay, thank you so much, Mike. I really hope those facts are not too boring for everyone. So let me see who would like to go next. How about Tom? Tom, are you there? Can you unmute yourself? Would you like to share your Christmas tradition growing up?
He's not usually this shy.
Tom, maybe he stepped away from the screen. Tom, are you there? You can unmute yourself if you would like to share your tradition, please. Oh, yes, he is.
I'm
Okay.
here, and we really didn't have any traditions. It was just I don't know, did stuff, and that was it. I mean, there was nothing special. Usually got some clothes and maybe a toy, but that was it. So anyway, I'll turn it back.
Thank you, Tom. Now, what we call it, short and sweet. Thank you. And now, how about Peggy? Peggy, would you like to share your Christmas tradition growing up?
Similar to what other people have said, I grew up Catholic, so we either went to church, midnight mass, usually Christmas morning, and we were allowed to open one present before church, and that was usually clothes that we would be wearing to church. And our stockings were stuffed with fruit and nuts. So we had nutcrackers, and because there were nuts in the shell, and usually a small toy or something. And then when we came back from church is when Santa Claus had come. I think we all waited in the car while one parenter was finishing up in the house. So that was kind of how ours went too.
Well, thank you so much, Peggy. And Renita, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I was trying to think of anything different, but I was raised Lutheran, but I went to church on Christmas Eve. And my mom was Scandinavian, and so I don't know if that's where the oyster stew came from or not, but that was always a menu on Christmas Eve. And we got to open one gift on Christmas Eve after church. And then on Christmas morning after Santa came, that is when we opened the rest of our gifts. And Santa always brought us our gifts in feed bags, because I was raised on the farm. The wrapping paper really wasn't, that accessible so we got our gifts in feed bags, which stapled shut is kind of hard to get into. So it was a chore to get into the gifts. My dad's family, a big family, always gets together on the Sunday between Christmas and New Year's. And so that's where the extended family, then we would get together, and we still do, except this year. So it's still, even though there are no brothers and sisters left in that family of 10, some of their spouses are, and then of course all of us cousins, which are all pretty much the same age, all enjoy getting together and seeing each other at least once a year. So, and the food, we had lots of cookies, lots of food. The oyster stew, I remember, just because that's really not something I'm keen on either. But we did have lutefisk on the occasion, and I grew to like that too.
Oh. Did it lock us out? Okay. Okay, let me see. Can you read just a couple of facts, please?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Here is the next batch of facts. Number 7, find the pickle. A pickle-shaped ornament hidden somewhere on the Christmas tree, with the person who finds it getting an extra present, is a common American Christmas tradition. I'm happy to say that was not a tradition at our house, but though it's mistakenly believed to be an old German tradition, nobody seems to know how the Christmas pickle tradition started. One myth involves a Civil War soldier of Bavarian origin who'd been imprisoned by the enemy. He begged the guard for one last pickle before he died, and it gave him the will to carry on. Well, power to the pickle. Another myth involves St. Nicholas rescuing 2 boys from a pickle barrel, but the truth is the legend was most likely started by retailers selling glass ornaments imported from Germany. Capitalism at its best. And the town of Berrien Springs, Michigan holds a pickle festival every December. Would you like me to continue, or is that enough?
That's enough. Thank you. Well, I hope that was a fun fact, the pickle one, because I was giggling as I was reading it. So I hope you enjoyed that one. Let me see who else. Linda, are you there? Would you like to share your Christmas tradition growing up, please?
Okay. I was brought up in a Polish American Catholic family. So Christmas meant going to Christmas Eve church service. And I remember one particular Christmas Eve when we came out of midnight mass and cars were pulling away and we had a flat tire and nobody stopped to help us fix that flat tire. The snow was falling and it was cold and just a miserable Christmas Eve. My dad always got a fresh, short needled Christmas tree, fresh. And we put it up just a day or so before Christmas. It wasn't up right after Thanksgiving. It was just a day or so before Christmas. It had those very delicate glass ornaments. It had, we always put candy canes on the tree and the silver tinsel, and of course lights. Our stockings were literally socks that we hung from the antlers of a stuffed deer head in our living room. And I remember sleeping on the couch thinking, I'm going to be there when Santa comes and I'm going to see him fill those stockings. But of course I fell asleep. The stockings were filled with, as many of you have said, with fruit and nuts. My brother always, it seemed, got a lump of coal in his. There was some candy, but not a lot. The only thing that Santa did was fill the stockings. There was no gift from Santa. There was one gift from my parents, and then my sister, who was 20 years older than me, would come from Chicago. I was brought up in Northwest Indiana. She would come from Chicago and we would get a gift from her. Foods, it was a time of year when we would go to these, I don't know what you want to call it, a seafood-like store in Michigan City, Indiana, where my parents would buy pickled herring. That was part of their tradition, to have pickled herring on Christmas Eve. I never acquired that taste. We always had Polish sausage and sauerkraut. Usually my dad had made the sauerkraut from the summer, and we had big, what do you want to call those? Big canisters, big containers, jars of sauerkraut that he had made. We made no, not kiefli. That was later. Kiefli is a cookie that's Hungarian. That's what I picked up from my in-laws. But we would have bulka, which is a sweetbread, Polish sweetbread that my grandmother would make, my busha. And my mom would make chruściki, which is for those of you who are Polish, maybe you know about that one. It's a lot of eggs yolks that are beat and then with flour, and then you fry the cookie and make a twist with it and put powdered sugar on it. I still make that. I carry through those traditions. I make the, I don't make the bulka, but I make the chruściki every Christmas. Let's see what else. Christmas dinner was usually goose or duck, which I didn't care for either. I just thought they were too greasy, but that's what we had. What else do I want to say? Our Christmas tree stayed up until January 6th, the Feast of the Three Kings, which was the 12th day of Christmas. And that was part of the celebration that on the 12th day you took it down. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Our new traditions, after I married my husband, he was of Hungarian descent. So we started making kiefli with his mother. which is another kind of cookie, and she would make so much keefly. And I make keefly now, apricot and raspberry and nut keefly every Christmas. What else? Oh, my family now, what we do now, my husband's been gone for 18 years. So now I go to my daughter's house on Christmas Eve, typically, not this year probably, and we go to the service at Bethlehem Lutheran Church where they go to church. And then we go to her house and we all open our gifts that night after we eat a very nice dinner. She usually makes a big roast beef or something. And it is the responsibility of the kids, who are now adults, to clean off the table. We cannot open any gifts until after the table is cleared and dishes are in the dishwasher. What else? Oh, then the next day, on Christmas Day, they come to my house and they want me to make pierogi, which is a dumpling filled with potatoes and cream cheese and onions, or sauerkraut and onions. And it's typically pierogi is typically a Lenten dish. When I grew up, it was a typical Friday meal, but my family likes it on Christmas and it is very labor intensive. So I probably only make it once a year for them on Christmas. We get many more gifts these days and do some of those silly exchanges where everybody brings a gift and then you choose a number and you can steal from each other and those kinds of things now. And sometimes we play charades or other games on Christmas Eve after we open our gifts. So it's usually quite a big holiday, so it'll be very different this year. I'm assuming it'll be a Zoom Christmas.
Yeah, but like I said, what's important is everybody's safety, and you can always do Christmas in June. Once vaccine is out and we can do things, we can always go back and see what kind of celebration we missed on and start the list. So let me see thank you so much for sharing, Linda. And let me see who else didn't get to. Oh, Sandra. Sandra, are you there? Can you unmute yourself if you're there, please? Sandra. Yep. Sandra Lords. Okay, maybe Sandra stepped away from her screen.
Would you like me to share a little something?
Yes, please. That would be great.
Okay, and not my screen. I won't share my screen on this one. But yeah, for our family, we never really celebrated with the extended family on Christmas Day. That was a pretty solemn day for us. It was usually us three boys and our mom going to church. Dad, I don't remember him going to church very much when we were kids, but one of the weekends before Christmas, we would have our cousins over for a big Christmas dinner. It was usually one of the 2 times of the year that we really saw our cousins, even though they just lived in Redwood Falls. But the interesting thing about the Rohlik family, Rohlik, a good Bohemian name, is that the oldest cousin, Laura, is a year older than me, so same age as my older brother. But then they had 11 kids over the next 19 years. So until I was in my 20s, I never really saw Aunt Janet when she wasn't pregnant. So that was kind of a unique thing for us. But we loved it because, well, we were somewhat well off. So our cousins liked to come because we always had toys and things for them to play with. They lived on the farm and with 11 kids, and they had maybe 3 bedrooms between those 11 kids. So they liked to go into our bedroom, just kind of spread out all the toys on our bed and play until we had the big Christmas dinner. And of course, for that, it was my mom, her sister and other women in the family were the ones who spent all day just toiling away in the kitchen, making sure the meal was good, while we kids and the men, I don't know where the men were off doing something, but we would eat, and then the guys would go off, and of course the women would clean up, they'd do the dishes, and they'd start preparing for the evening meal. Really no chance for a break, but I think what they liked about it was the camaraderie, the fact that they were all in there working together. They had the chance to catch up. I remember seeing, my mom was left-handed, so I could see her her handwriting as she wrote to her sister Phyllis, who I think was also left-handed, now that I think about it. But it was always nice because that time, and then a summer picnic in Redwood Falls at Alexander Ramsey Park, were the times that we really got together with our cousins. So for us, that was the bonding time. And unfortunately, when my mom passed away when we were about 16, we kind of lost that. Plus, by that time, the families had grown, they were going in different directions, so it was a lot tougher to get the whole families together. But we always had the traditional, turkey and ham, and nothing of the ethnic variety, unfortunately. So I miss out on that, and I'm jealous of the people who had that, and I want to go back through the Swedish background, which was my father's ethnicity, and just discover some more of those traditions and incorporate those into my life.
Well, thank you so much, Mike. That was really, really nice. So is Sandra back? Let me see. Sandra, are you back? Would you like to share your Christmas tradition growing up? If you can unmute yourself, if you're by your screen. Maybe not. Okay. There's one more person. Rosalie, are you there? If you're there, would you like to share your Christmas tradition growing up? Rosalie, if you can unmute yourself.
Looks like we got the shy people today.
Okay. Well, let me see. Did Renee share? Renee, did you get a chance to share your Christmas tradition growing up? You can unmute yourself.
Lots of church and lots of extended family, both on my mother's side and on my father's side. It actually was a generation older than my father that got together on Christmas night. And my mother was infamous for her anise flavored cookies. So those are the things that I remember. Lots of family, lots of church. Thanks for asking.
Thank you, Renee. Again, that was short and sweet. I just want to tell you that anise cookies also one of my mom's favorite, and she used to make those also during Christmas, and also special events like Easter, and I think also in Holy St. Mary feast as well. So
Cecile?
I'm gonna try.
Cecile?
Yes.
Can I just say something about, do you have a minute yet?
Yes, I do. Go ahead.
Okay, well, Annette and I spent a few Christmases in Germany when we were living there. And I just have to tell you about their tradition. They have Christmas markets, and that's open booths in the town square. And they sell things like Christmas ornaments and manger scenes and Lebkuchen, which is a German cookie, and roasted nuts, and Glühwein, which is a hot wine. And the smells are just terrific when you go down there, and you can't help but, oh, they have the nutcrackers and the incense burners. Anyway, we would always go, and then the children would one evening would have a parade. They'd make these paper lanterns with lights in them, candles probably, or some kind of battery operated light, and they parade from down in the city center up to the top of the hill where the castle, the Nuremberg castle was. And to see that, all those lights snaking up was just absolutely inspiring. And the year that we went to visit Cecile in Doha, when she was about to have her baby, Max, we made a stop in Germany on the way so that we could take in the Christmas markets again. And I'll just never forget the sights and smells and sounds of those Christmases. So that's all. I just wanted to add that.
Well, thank you so much, Grandma, for sharing that. It would have been nice if I had Max in Germany during that time, so I can enjoy all. Thank you again for sharing. So there is one more thing, if I can get Mike to help me out. Lourdes had sent a very nice, beautiful family picture of her family during Christmas time. So I just would like Lourdes, if she can tell us a little bit about that picture, if we can share it with everyone, to tell us just a little bit about who is in that picture and what was the occasion and where the picture was taken. Lord.
Hey, yes. You know what? I forgot to mention that I love Christmas trees. Okay, I love Christmas trees. I have 6 in my home right now. Different sizes. I got one in my dining room, one in the other side, and the other side close to the living room too. So I love Christmas trees. Okay, it's my best experience. I remember that I was working at the age of 14, maybe 13 years old. And I love to buy, the trees. But at the first time when I got my money for my work, I buy a Christmas tree that time. Because I love Christmas tree, okay? I love it. I just love the Christmas tree. I don't know why. I love lights and everything. So I don't know if you have the picture there, or I can put it on if you want. Let me see if I can put it right now here. Oh, I can do it. So yes, the host have to do it. So.
It's fine. I can go ahead and share my Christmas tradition till we can get some of the pictures on the screen. So I will go ahead and share my own Christmas tradition growing up in Sudan. Well, first of all, I need to tell you that we had 2 Christmases because, oh, we got the picture. Okay.
I'm trying to get to open that one up, but there it is.
Okay, here you go. All right, Lourdes, back to you.
Okay, so this is my family. See, I'm right here. I'm the little girl over there. Yes, I am that. And I asked my family, was 2 days ago, can you please send me some picture? That is my family. Well, the orange blues, if you see, she died when she got 28 years old. So she died for brain cancer. So she's not with us already. So my mom is not with us, just a couple there. So That's a good picture. When I saw, I feel like so sentimental, like, oh my gosh, there is. There is my mom, there is my sister that is not anymore with us. So yes, so this is no one, my clothes at that time, everything was new, the cloth, the socks, shoes, everything. So that is my best gift at Christmas at that time.
Thank you so much for sharing, Lourdes. Um, so as of my Christmas growing up, it kind of got a little bit from what Lourdes has, where we did not have a big Christmas tree. This Christmas tree, where my mom and my sister are standing next to, they got that tree after I immigrated to the US. But as we were growing up, the Christmas tree we had was like 1/4 the size of that tree. So it was very small. We would put it on top of the dining room table and we will decorate it. And we would use cotton balls, or we would roll the cotton and make it very thin. And that's how we would decorate the tree. And that would be the snow. And then we'll have few ornaments and maybe one string of lights to decorate the tree. However, if you look closer, you'll see that we would decorate the whole house inside with like different kind of decorations. There are some bells that were hanging next to the door that is next to the Christmas tree. And all the way at the back, you'll see a small Christmas tree that's made out of lights. And on top of it, there's some decoration kind of hanging from the wall. So we usually would start decorating the house and the tree probably 2 weeks before Christmas. And growing up in Sudan, first of all, my dad was Catholic and my mom was Orthodox, Coptic Orthodox from Egypt. So we celebrated, we were all baptized Catholic because of my dad, but we grew up Orthodox. However, Christmas was always the Catholic celebration. We celebrated on December 24th and 25th. And when we kind of grew up to like our early 20s, we kind of decided, us the children, to celebrate Christmas twice. So we will celebrate on the 25th and also on January 7th. So the tradition that we grew up with is that on the 24th, my dad was also similar to Mike's dad, where he doesn't attend church that much, but the only time he would attend church would be Christmas Eve. So we would always, the whole family would go to the Christmas Mass on the 24th at night. And it's usually a midnight service. And then we would come home and that's when we would have dinner. So dinner is usually sometime between midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning. And because we were not well-off family, so at that time, pizza was considered kind of like fancy food, just because it's not like a traditional African food or Sudanese food. So that would be one of the very few times that we'd eat pizza, and we will get it delivered or we will pick it up. And we will pick it up before we go to church because we know after midnight it will be closed. But we would look forward to having those pizzas after the Christmas service. And then we will, after we have our pizzas, we will go to sleep, because we grew up with the belief that if we don't fall asleep, Santa won't come. And unlike the typical tradition almost everywhere where Santa will put the gifts or the presents under the tree, our presents, depending on size, it would either be under our pillows or under our beds. So if it was like a small necklace or a piece of jewelry, then, you know, if it's under your bed, it'll be very hard to find. So it'll be mainly under your pillow. But if it was a toy or maybe a blouse or a dress or maybe a pair of shoes, then that would be under your bed. And then what happens is Santa, who is either my mom or my dad, when we fall asleep, they'll sneak up into our bedrooms and they will place the Christmas presents. So we'll get up in the morning. The first thing we do is we'll look under our pillows. And if it's nothing there, we look under our beds and we get so excited. We all got also, we each got one Christmas present. And then the food on Christmas Day, first of all, as an African, you're probably familiar that we drink more tea than coffee. So the first thing we drink on Christmas Day is a giant mug of tea and milk. And my mom and my grandma, the week before Christmas, they will go crazy baking all different kinds of cookies. So what we do is for breakfast, it will be that giant mug of tea with milk with like a plate full of cookies, and you just dip the cookie in your tea and you eat it. So, I mean, by the time you're done with that huge mug and all the cookies, you're like borderline in a sugar coma. But that used to be like the best part of Christmas. And as for the tradition of food that we would eat on Christmas Day would be stuffed pigeon. And my mom and grandma, they make the best one. They stuff the pigeon with like crack wheat. Am I saying it right? Yeah, crack wheat. And then they also use the broth from the pigeon, and they make a very yummy soup that's made of yogurt, the broth, yogurt, and crack wheat, and you can't have enough of that. So that used to be, and because again, this is a lot of work because we buy the pigeons alive and then we have to, cook them at home. So there was a lot of plucking that we had to do and boiling and cooking. So it was a lot of work, but it was definitely worth it. And that's why this meal, we only have it in a very special occasions like Christmas. So that's pretty much the tradition that we had in our family. So we, as you can see, that's my mom and my younger sister. That's before they got all gussed up for the Christmas mass. But that's how they are preparing the Christmas tree and the decoration and getting the house all clean and tidy for Christmas. And the tradition in our country is that Christmas Day and the day after Christmas Day up until the 27th or the 28th of December, the tradition is that family will come over and for greetings and for visiting and wishing happy Christmas. So we got family from, and usually the Orthodox relatives from my mom's side, they will come to our family, to wish us the Christmas, the Catholic Christmas. And then on January 7th, then the Catholic part of the family will go visit the Orthodox, like my mom's mom and brother and sisters. Then my dad's side will go visit them and wish them, Merry Christmas on January 7th. That was another tradition that we do in Sudan, and this is still going on. So that's pretty much my part. Mike, can we share a couple of the fun facts about Christmas around the world, please?
Yeah, I gotta try to find it again.
So,
That's many windows open here.
okay. So I hope everybody had a chance to share their own tradition of Christmas. I don't know if Sandra is back, Rosalie. I think they are the only two who didn't share their Christmas tradition. So Sandra or Rosalie, if you're back, please unmute yourself if you would like to share your Christmas tradition growing up. If not,
I can't find that again.
it's okay. I just would like to thank you all. I hope this was a fun one, a fun topic to share during this time of the year. And I was trying to get more diverse guests to talk about their Christmas tradition. However, as you all know, it's very hard to get hold of people virtually and via phone and via email. But I'm just so happy and so grateful for all of you who took the time and joined us today. I thank you all. I know we're finishing a couple of minutes early, but if anybody remember it's part of the tradition that they did not share when it was their turn, feel free to share now, or if you have question about other people's traditions, feel free to ask.
Oh, I want to add something in my tradition. My tradition in Christmas, well, this December 24th. It's not December 25th. We don't celebrate anything in December 25th, anything, just 24. And we celebrate with fireworks. Okay, this is so different. I saw in this country just for 4th of July, the fireworks. In my country is in December 24, we celebrate with fireworks. So this is something that is, I think so is different than another country.
Thank you, Lourdes. I think the first time I've seen fireworks besides on TV was when I first moved to the US back in 2003. So that was amazing for me. But no, we don't use fireworks for Christmas or for anything. But I've seen that a lot of Latin American countries, in Argentina, in Portugal, they use fireworks on Christmas Eve, especially. So thank you for sharing that, Lourdes. Anybody else would like to share anything else? All right. Well, I just want to thank you all again. And I wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and stay safe.